Hello, beautiful people. Alexis
Hel-
and I are live. Hello, Alexis. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are
You look
you?
amazing. I love it.
You
I
so
love the lipstick
much.
and everything. We're vibing out here.
Ooh.
It's
You look
amazing.
gorgeous. I feel like we're both really, I don't know if it's the energy of the full moon coming in, but there is something
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
feeling myself.
Yeah. I need this like full moon fire. And I
Yeah.
love Sag energy. Sag is one of the fire signs that I really can connect with. I feel growing up, a lot of my close friends have been Sagittarius. Like it's like Sagittarius, Aquarius, and some Gemini as well.
Yeah.
So I feel really good in this energy. And the moon hasn't even reached Sagittarius yet. So we're still in Scorpio.
Scorpio. Yep.
So that definitely makes a lot of sense for us too.
Oh, absolutely. I am feeling my Scorpio rising energy so intensely today, and
Yes.
it's bringing like this dark like like confident energy. I don't know.
I
It's
love
I'm
it.
just feeling it.
I'm vibing. I'm vibing off of it. All right, so those of you watching, definitely feel free to say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching the replay, definitely say hi in the comments. We want to hear from you guys. Don't be shy. And so, in this live stream, we're going to talk about the different levels of lucidity. And we'll share where we currently are. We would love to hear your perspective and questions regarding this topic. And of course, we will share our dreams and share an interpretation of the energy that comes through. And then, of course, the conversation will just organically flow as it always does. So, before we get into the topic, I do want to remind you all that we have an open forum, aka a dream bank, where you can leave your dreams. It is on my website at uraniauniverse.com. If you go to the forum button, you'll see a category for dreams and astral travel. If you're not a member of my website, it will ask you to join. It's free. It's mainly to kind of deal with spam, to keep spam away and bots. So we definitely, or I definitely encourage you to join. As I said, it's free. And yeah, you can drop your dream there and we will comment, check it out. We will more than likely share what comes through for us, whatever reads we get on the dream. So just keep that in awareness. And we may also ask if we can share your dream live anonymously, if that's okay with you. And if you are really interested in joining us live and sharing your dream and interpreting even our dreams and giving us a read on what we share, we would love to have you on live. So if you're interested in that, you can send me a message through my website, or you can send a message or send me an email to connect@uraniauniverse.com. Awesome. I think that's all of the notes right now. And Jim is here. Jim says hello. So happy to see you
Hey,
and hear
Jim.
you. I have missed you so much. Happy here today, long tomorrow. I can't. There's a heart covering up that word there, but welcome, Jim. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Good to connect. All right, so we're just going to jump right into it. I think so the last week we were talking about, whoa, wait, why am I losing my train of thought? What we're talking about? Oh, we're talking about anxious dreams, right? I had to
Hmm.
like look back at my notes. What were we talking about? And nightmares. And one of the things we had just touched on briefly was how with nightmares or just with lucidity in either one of the dreams, you can really address whatever's coming up. You can kind of get an understanding of what you're anxious about, and you can take care of that or heal that, or really open up the opportunity to heal whatever you're having anxiety about or whatever you're having a nightmare about when you are in the lucid dream state. So I know personally, I'm pretty sure I share this, but in an anxious dream, 9 times out of 10, I'm not lucid, but I've noticed that there are times where I am lucid, and but it's like very, very mild, to the sense of it's just me waking myself up. Like I don't like what's going on, or it's just too much to handle. And then I like wake myself out of the dream. Like I just decide, oh, this is done. And I can recall that happening in the past. And now doing this dream, the lucid dream work intentionally, I think now wow, I was actually lucid at those times and I didn't even realize it. And so that got me really curious about the different levels of lucidity. And so I wanted to talk about that with Alexis tonight. And hopefully you all can join in the conversation and let us know what your experience is with this and just the different levels of lucidity as we discuss the levels. So we will share the 5 levels of lucidity. And this is actually, we got these 5 points from a field guide to lucid dreaming by, who are the authors? You have them right there in front of you. I'm having
Dylan
problems saying.
Tuchillo, Jared Ziesel, and Thomas Peisel. And I apologize if I botched any of those last names or all of those last names. I do my best.
Yeah, you did better than me because I couldn't even. I knew it was Italian, the first one, and I think I was overthinking it, and it was a tongue twister for me. So it was a lot. Yeah, so this book is actually really good. I don't own it. Alexis owns it, and she's been sharing some pages with me and some guidance through the book. And I was listening to this audio version at one point in preparation for the Dream Circle, and they do give really good techniques and tips for just like hands-on getting yourself in the lucid dream or in the practice of really inducing these lucid dreams and how to navigate that. So it's like I feel it's very like hands-on, like in the experience of doing it, right?
Absolutely. The book is, I think the book is easy to digest. Some of the books they have for lucid dreaming are complicated or they're almost too, like, they distract you with the more magical aspect of it, which is great. That's one way, like, to, I get distracted if it's too, like, magical and drawn out from the actual, like, step by step. And I
Right.
feel as though this book really lays everything out in a digestible way. It's easy to understand, it's to the point, and they give their own examples too. So they'll talk about, the level of lucidity, and then they'll give a dream that they had with like what level lucidity they were at. And it's a short dream, it's nothing
Oh,
really
okay.
long, but they're kind of examples in a lot of the book, and it doesn't feel stressful. It feels like a nice, like, we're just here to hold your hand through this.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I really appreciate that because I've seen it. I've seen it in passing and I've seen it obviously online. Do you want to show, you have
Oh
the
yeah,
book there with
sure.
you? You want to hold it up? Yeah,
It's
so it's not dense at all. Like it's very, like you were saying, it's very straight to the point.
Yeah, and
And I
like
think, yeah.
even the like the little drawings in it, it's like a, they take dreams and put them in the drawings, and they're
Ooh,
like these
I
old
love that.
timey like
Yeah.
illustrations, and it just kind of catches your eye. I highly suggest, if you're looking for a book to help you with your lucidity or to just, like, learn, I highly
Wow.
suggest this one. I think it's
Oh,
really,
I
it's
love
it's a
that.
very good book.
Yeah, I love that for the fact that even like seeing drawings of it really intrigues me. As I was telling Alexis last night in our dream circle that I have started, to draw my dreams. And Alexis, as you can see behind her, there's a lot of her art. She's an artist, amazing artist.
Thank you.
And I am so basic and elementary. Like it's so the fact that I'm beginning to draw my dreams is amazing and I feel really inspired. So just seeing the pictures in that book, because I didn't realize, I've never literally picked the book up. I've seen it and I've listened to it, but I haven't, actually gone through a physical copy. And this is the beauty and the magic of having the physical books. And I think that's something worth adding to your library if you are really serious about the lucid dream journey. I know I'm going to get my hands on the book, and we're not being sponsored or anything to
No.
share and talk about the book. We're just really excited. And I've gotten a lot of value out of that. And then the other book that we have been listening to is Lucid Dreaming Gateway to the Inner Self by Robert Wagner. And that book is amazing too. And I think
It
it's
is.
really good having both of these books because with Robert Wagner, I'm beginning to learn that he's definitely like one of the like main, not spokesperson isn't the right word, but he's kind of like the go to or face of lucid dreaming is what I'm seeing. He's a big deal essentially,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a lot of experience. And I feel he's someone who really is hands on, like almost like a scientist when it comes to
Yes,
this, which is also kind of a bit of my approach. And I know that's a bit of what you're
absolutely.
doing too at this
Mm-hmm.
moment, where it's like, okay, I've heard of these different things, and there's like you're doing other studies in addition to your lucid dream work, but the other studies are kind of in the same field as the dream world, and you hear about these different techniques or these different experiences or even just different spiritual theories that you might want to test in the dream space. And
Absolutely.
so in his book he presents a lot of those experiences. He more so shares his dreams or what he's heard from others, and then he will compare that to the different techniques or the theories within lucid dreaming. So honestly, I feel that both of these books, these are like from what I've learned already, these are definitely two books that you want to have in your library, your own personal library. So I'm going to advance from the audio version to a physical book. So I'm really excited to do that. And Jace is here. What's up, Jace?
Hey,
Hi. Jace says
Jace.
hello, everyone, and says the section on meeting people in dreams is interesting in that book. And which book? I'm curious. But I'm thinking he's talking about the field guide one because I know he has that book. Is
I
there a
don't know
section on that?
because the Robert Wagner one, I just listened and he was talking about meeting dream people. I mean, it's
Right.
probably a topic of content in most
Yeah.
of the books for dreaming and lucid dreaming.
Right. I know. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat. Okay, I know that in Robert Wagner's book, he did talk about meeting dream people and his interactions. And what really stood out to me, and this is totally off topic, so I'll keep it short, but just it just came to mind how fascinating just that experience and topic is, where he always assumed that the dream people, I think he said that they're his like plaything. When you're in the lucid dream, it's like they're your plaything, they're going to do what you tell them to do, they're going to do what you expect them to do. And he got to a certain point in the dream, which I've experienced in my own recent lucid dreams, is that you will talk to them, connect with them, and they have
Mm-hmm.
their own free will and their own self-empowerment to do what they want to do at times. Like sometimes you get what you expect. And then other times, I feel the more advanced you are, the more I feel that maybe the dream people evolve with you. Right.
Oh,
So
for sure.
when you are just having fun and you're in a lucid dream and you're doing all the things, your environment for the most part will cater to you. Maybe your consciousness, your subconscious will cater to you. But then once you start to evolve, and definitely when you reach these different levels in lucid dreaming, then you'll see that actually, you are not the god of your lucid dream, right? You're not the supreme creator. And so that's a really fascinating topic and perspective that we'll probably visit at some point.
Absolutely. And the dream is you to an extent. So you're going to evolve with the dream and the dreams are going to evolve with you. And that is so telling of just our progress in day-to-day waking life as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
our dreams tend to reflect our day-to-day.
Right. And it's like the more you awaken in your conscious life, you see that reflected in, the people that you interact with, right? And either
Absolutely.
they're evolving with you or there's some sort of conflict, or, whatever the case may be, things are different than what they
Yes.
were when you were, say, unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And like we've been saying, it seems to like be the same reflected in the dreams, but a lot different as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the 5 levels. So there are 5 levels. And so this is, like I said, it's coming from the book, A Field Guide to Lucid Dreaming, that we already discussed. And I did a quick Google search also on the levels of lucidity because, of course, never enough time. And yeah, I like the pressure of time, apparently. So I was like, let me do some more research. And it seemed that there's a consensus of the 5 levels. Like I saw 7, but I feel from what I was seeing, mostly there are 5 different levels, which makes sense. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
expand it if you want to, but this is like the baseline understanding or comprehension of the levels of lucidity. And
Yeah.
so the first level is that's an easy one. There's absolutely no awareness whatsoever. No, like you're basically unconscious dreaming, like you're just dreaming, and you more than likely have poor dream recall, if any, at
Yeah.
this point. So I would throw in there, when, the people that say that they don't dream, I feel that that falls right into that category. So
Yeah.
there's pretty much no lucidity there.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second level is slight awareness and the ability to act or make decisions. So dream recall becomes a little bit easier because you are in awareness enough to in the dream to realize that you can make decision. And I'm going to share that I was a little iffy on the organization of these, or just I feel the middle 3 seems somewhat of the same when it comes to what you're doing in the dream, but then I see the differences. So we'll talk about
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
But so number 2 is slight awareness, and you basically had the ability to act or make decisions, right? So this is not necessarily saying that you do make the decisions or you do
Mm-hmm.
act, but you have the awareness in the dream, but it's like kind of there, but not like fully there or something, right? Would you say?
Yep. I agree.
So then the third level is knowing that you are dreaming. So you're like full on awareness essentially, right? But you feel separate from the dream
Yep.
and you have a
Mm-hmm.
hard time influencing your dream environment. And so I'm just going to stop at this one right here because this is where I was getting a little bit like, shouldn't it be switched? And we can have a discussion about this because I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying, they're wrong.
No,
But
I
my
agree
thing
with
is,
you.
yeah, it's like if you have a hard time influencing your dream environment, then would that not fall into the second category, right? Because they mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
or the second level, because they mentioned in the second level, you have the ability to act or make decisions. And then on the third level, you have a hard time influencing it.
No, I agree
So
with you on
what are
that.
your
Like with
thoughts?
level 2, I feel as though it should be slight awareness, more recall, but not enough awareness to be able to make action or decision. And I
Yeah.
think that's where it is weird because you should be like it. Why are we jumping from like no awareness already to awareness and ability to action, like take action? I don't think it
Yeah.
works that way. I mean, and
Yeah.
again, this is like my opinion. Um, this is a great book. I love what they're doing, but I do think it's
Yeah.
important to question what we're seeing and based off of our own
Yeah.
experiences and perspectives as well.
Yeah, I do feel the feeling of being separate from the dream,
Mm-hmm.
right? So maybe that could be that next level experience, right? From 2 to 3 in that sense,
Yes.
because having that awareness, that makes sense to me. That's an awareness shift of where you don't you go beyond the experience of like, okay, I'm in a dream and I can just control things, right? Like maybe you do have a hard time influencing your environment because for whatever reason. And that could be an experience on both levels, to be honest. But then when you get to the third level, you start to realize that you are in the dream and you're observing kind of everything around you essentially. So there's some awareness. And I could see that. I've been having that experience lately where I am very observant within my environment, but I for some reason I have not had the ability to, you know, influence anything. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
that. Um yeah, so I would say that's kind of for me the way I comprehend it. That is the difference between level 2 and level 3, where
Yeah.
it's like you're just in the dream existing in level 2, and then in level 3 it's like I am me, which you're existing, but there's awareness that I am me, and then everything is external, which is an experience that we might have here in waking life too.
Yes. And I think that's what's so important about the difference between level 3 and level 4 is because by level 4, you realize that what you're observing is actually you. Like
Yeah.
you are in a mini version of yourself in your own head, traveling in these destinations, but it's all inside of you.
Yeah.
And there's no
So that is,
separation.
yeah. So that is level 4 for those of you guys listening. So you know, for level 4, you know that you're dreaming. And at this point of awareness, you are in an understanding and awareness that everything in the dream is an aspect of you, right? Everything external is really internal. It's the inner self, but it's projected, outside of you in the dream, right? So this is kind of like the Carl Jung perspective as well, where everything happening in the dream, the people, the environment, the emotion, like everything's a reflection of you. Like your dream is all about you. And so there's a lot that can come through that and reflection and interpretation as well. And that makes sense to me because that's really bringing it into a deeper like level in the sense of your own psyche and really getting an understanding of your own, you could say, trauma, behavioral patterns, even your own, spiritual gifts, so to speak, because it's not just like anything bad and anything repressed and heavy. It could be, the lighter aspects that you were unaware of, or just your own creative abilities that you were unaware of. And that's all, when you have that level of awareness in that space, that's all, revealed to you. And so they say that this is the point of mastery over your dream elements and creation. And so I'm assuming that they mean that you are able to really create the dream space more so directly for whatever your desired intention is. Like it's easier to influence that environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it
So,
says here that you reach a level of pure consciousness,
mm-hmm.
which you're completely there.
Yeah, like you're in a full state of awareness.
Full state of awareness.
And so then the fifth level is kind of like I see it kind of as like a bonus level,
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
Yeah.
And so it says this level is only known to masters of the dream state. It goes beyond the normal interactions with the dream world. The projection of the dream world dissolves and you reach a level of pure conscious awareness. And so that essentially, I feel like when I was reading that and going through these levels, just, in my mind and trying to make rational sense of it, that to me feels like one, like complete surrender. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
in awareness of the dream and it's surrender. Like you were talking about how you will go along with the dream for the most part. Like you will observe and make decisions, but you will let the dream guide you.
Guide me,
And
yes.
I'm going to say, like, that is a form of mastery because that's what I have been practicing right now to do. And it's not easy. Like, I
No.
haven't, like, it's when, because you have to have this space of, I think they said this delicate balance of focus and presence within the dream, right? But not too much that you get swept away, and not too, as we mentioned before, not too emotionally invested, because then you will wake up or whatever, it'll collapse, right?
Yeah.
And so it is a mastery to it. It's an art.
And it's wonderful too. Like you, even in the anxious dreams that I have when I'm in that state, I can like I'm aware of all right, I'm dreaming. I am inside my own self. Like it's almost
Mm-hmm.
like playing a video game where you have your person walk up to the table and like look through the papers and go over, except I'm doing those things like myself. Like it's so
Yeah.
interesting, and I'm consciously taking in what's happening and then figuring out how to navigate forward. All right, So
Yeah.
this person just spoke to me in this way. What do I, how are we, and it's not like it's like I'm making decisions in real life. So when I'm sitting there, something
Mm-hmm.
happens, like a car jumps in front of, like I see a car is going to jump in front of me and I'm too far, I'm too close to them. I'll like lean on the brakes, and like that's a quick decision. That's how it is in the dream too. But
Mm-hmm.
if I break it down, like I'm really thinking about what is happening and using that reaction and my own decision making
Mm-hmm.
to like go further into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really interesting experience. And I also find that it is, the fifth level is extremely sensory. I mean, it could, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I jump between, but I find that level 4 and level 5 with it is insanely sensory. Like I am smelling things,
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling the temperature changes, I can feel if
Mm-hmm.
something's wet or dry or dusty, or I can see things in like almost like my third eye in my dream. Like it
Mm-hmm.
is, it's an interesting experience to say the least.
Yeah. No, I feel that too. And, I've had, and Alexis and I are actually going to share, where we are currently, primarily, I guess you could say. But we were talking about this before, that you kind of, flow or fluctuate between the levels. I feel like
Absolutely.
it's rare at this point, once you start this journey, it's rare to be at level one. I feel like that's the one that's just like, no, like at this point, especially 9 times out of 10, if you're doing lucid dream work, you are also doing, a lot of spiritual, highly spiritual, practices, rituals, and meditation, in your waking life. So you're not going to lose that level of awareness. So I just want to share here. Jace is mentioning his thoughts on the levels. He says, level 2 is conscious dreaming, meaning it's a dream, but not able to affect it.
See, I agree with
Level,
that. Yep,
yeah,
I agree with
yeah.
that.
Level 3 is you are conscious and can affect the localized area around yourself, but not the dream fully. Okay. Um, okay. Level 4, you have the ability. I was trying to try to process it, but I'm just gonna read it. Level 4, you have the ability to affect the whole dream, like changing a dream. Okay. And level 5 is like living a dream and you're part of it. This can cause false memories. It's like living it, like you're living it. You're living the
Yep.
dream in
And
the dream. Yeah.
that's the experience I have
Like
when
it's
I
your
say
life in that.
I
Yeah.
have one foot in the waking realm and one foot in the dream realm at all
Yeah.
times. They feel the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. Yeah. And so I would say where I am currently, because it's really interesting, I started like anyone, well, not like you, but like a lot of people that start lucid dream, like, or just have it spontaneously, but not
Mhm.
often and don't pay attention to them like that. When I had the lucid dreams, it was like pleasure seeking. And so it was so easy at that point to change my environment and stuff. So I'm curious. I'm like, maybe, that is, level 2 where you're lucid. Or I mean, I guess it could be like, between no, I would say according to this, I feel like that experience was level 2.
Okay.
And now where I am, I've had, these 3 additional levels. And where I am right now, I'm really having challenges within the dream space, but I'm also releasing the pressure, I guess, of it all because I'm so busy and I know, and that's something, we were talking about in Dream Circle last night. And I think we talked about in the anxious dreams how when you are really busy or when there's a lot, when you're not present in your waking life, like you obviously see that, as a factor influencing your dream time, your dream
Hmm.
life. And so it's been really hard to master, say, the dream elements or the environment and like influencing it. Like most of the time now when I'm lucid, it's like I have no control, like I'm just in awareness of it, or I am at, it's like a jump to level 5 where I'm just
Yeah.
experiencing it, and I'm living it. And it's like everything's happening where I don't even have almost the time to change it. Like it's like I almost feel like it's experienced or it's guided divinely in the moments. And actually I'm going to share a dream where I have that experience where it's where I just am it's like complete surrender. Like I don't have time to control it. I don't really want to control it. I'm enjoying it so much, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
there's definitely a lot that you get out of embracing the dream messages that are given to you. I find that it is very insightful of how I'm functioning in my subconscious, things
mm-hmm,
that aren't really coming through in the day, like the day time when I am conscious. And I can sit
mm-hmm,
down and I can understand where I'm guiding myself or my higher
mm-hmm.
self is guiding me. So it's definitely really beneficial. I find it's very beneficial. But
Yeah.
in regards to the levels for me, like I tend to bounce back and forth between them. Like I feel like I mostly am on level 5, but I bounce between, I would say, 4 and 5. And then I'll have like a week of very intense level 5 dreams, some multiple in a night. And then I will have a day or two in between where I don't remember anything. I have no
Mm-hmm.
recollection. And it's not often, but I know how upset I get when it happens. So I've been dreaming and lucid dreaming for so long, and I do have complete, like, pure consciousness when I am in my dream. But that doesn't mean that I don't have, like, different lower level experiences
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
intertwined. And I
Yeah.
think that's really something to be gentle about, like, because the fact of the matter is you're lucid, level 1, you don't really remember your dream. You're not really, there's no awareness, and the dream recall is really not good. But even dreamers who dream all the time have that level 1 no recall intertwined.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely something
But
to be gentle about.
I feel that you remember at least the feeling. Like you're not completely in the dark. Cause
That's
I like
true.
recently I've been having every so often, it's like at least one day out of the week. Yeah. Where I will know I know that I dreamt, obviously, like we're always dreaming, but I can't remember. It's like as soon as I wake up, it's there, and then I turn over or something
Yeah,
or get out of bed and it's gone. But I remember
it,
the feeling, and it's just like, oh, it's like so distant. That's why I always tell you, I'm like, it's so distant. I can't
it
like
is. It's like chasing a
grasp
piece of
it.
paper that's caught in the wind. Like you just can't
Yes,
get it.
yes,
And like
yeah,
I what will happen to me is if what I'll remember is a speeded up but so fast that I can't grab anything from it, and like the general feeling. I mean, even I took a nap before this. I wanted to try to induce a lucid dream before I um jumped on, and I know that it was only like a half hour, 40 minutes that I was napping for. I didn't really have any visuals aside from the beginning where I was like kind of looking into a black mirror. After that, it was just the song Mr. Sandman playing over and over in my head. And there was this general, like this vague sense of unease that was like stringing along, but no
yeah,
actual visuals with it. So yeah, you get the
yeah. And
feeling.
you couldn't fully drop in anyways because you knew you didn't want to miss like get too deep into sleep because then you
Yeah,
would possibly miss this.
exactly. And
Your conscious mind was like, nope.
I have a horrible tendency to sleep through things. Horrible
Yeah.
tendency. Even getting up for work is a challenge.
Right. Yeah. So this is really interesting. And I think this is an influence of our dream circle last night. We were talking about how to induce lucid dreams. And so we both were talking about the wake back to bed,
Wake,
right?
yeah,
That technique.
wake back to bed technique. Yep.
Yeah. So I tried that this morning and I was so annoyed. I don't think I was lucid, but I definitely, and I laid down and was, saying I'm going to be lucid or whatever I was saying in that regard. And yeah, it was a fail, and I lost some of my early morning alone time, without the little. But anyways, it was just funny that you and I both tried some techniques from that were discussed last night. And it was like, nope. But yeah, but
Yeah.
we've experienced these different levels, and you don't really stay static at one, but you'll learn the more and more you master, the lucid dream practice, then, you will see yourself more so at these higher levels longer than usual, or like longer than you expected.
Yeah.
And lately, I will also just add, what's been interesting is that I realized that in the past, I definitely have been lucid. Maybe I feel like maybe in between level 1 and level 2, or maybe between level 2 and level 3, not quite sure, because I can kind of remember the dreams. But what's interesting is that I will wake myself out of the dream. Like if something's happening that I'm annoyed, or I know that I have to get up, it's not just like my body naturally wakes up. Like I make a conscious decision at the end of the dream to wake up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm done with this. And I get up. And then it's like a whole groggy mess when I get up, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like it felt like there was so much energy that I exerted to wake myself up. It's so weird, which I think is somehow and sometimes how I end up, having the sleep paralysis, because I have experience with that. Not saying everyone who wakes themselves up will have it, but for me, I know that's a thing. So because your mind and your body aren't, I guess, synced up. And so,
Mhm.
my mind's like, let's get up. And my body's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So it's that in between.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I
I was
think,
like, oh, I guess I was lucid.
yeah. And I think it's funny too. Like, I don't have the experience of waking myself up in my dream. I never want to wake up. Once I'm in my
Mm-hmm.
dream, I want to continue and continue and continue and travel through an adventure. I don't
Yeah.
want to wake up. Like, I
Yeah.
used to joke to myself, like when I was younger, like I would love to be in a coma. And I know that sounds so like whacked out. It does. It sounds so whacked out, but I was like, I'm not
uh,
doing well in the waking realm. I struggle.
you're
I
like,
was
this is
struggling with
boring.
I know I was like struggling with
The waking
friends. I
world is
was doing
boring.
terrible in school. I like just had issues at home, and I was like, I wish I was in a coma, because then all I have to do, all I'm able to do all the time for however long I'm in it is dream and like constantly be in this dream. Of course I don't feel that way now.
Yeah.
It was just, when you're younger, and I'm I'm sure a lot of people understand what being a teenager is like and wanting to escape. And that's basically what it
Yeah.
was. I just had like a
Yeah.
different level of escape that I was searching for.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Yeah. And some people really love to sleep. I don't mind sleeping. I enjoy it, but maybe it's all my Capricorn where I'm just like, okay, this is the time for sleep. This is the time for ritual. This is the time for video. Everything is like blocked and ready to go.
Oh yeah.
And I'm also excited. And I would definitely say I'm excited about my day to day,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have to wake up and, go to a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I have to, take care of my daughter, which is a
Mm-hmm.
whole job in itself,
Yeah.
but we have a whole routine. And so, not every day is the same, but for the most part, I'm like waking up and doing something that I'm really passionate about. So, especially this time of year, I like getting up with the sun and everything. And so, naturally, my body's like, okay, we're done sleeping now, get up, right? Because I could have stayed up this morning. I could have just gotten out of bed. It was like 6:30, but I wanted to take advantage of the wake back to bed. And then I woke up
Yeah.
later than and then, then my daughter woke up like pretty much as soon as I woke up. And so that was the whole thing. But anyways, enough
I mean,
about
that
that.
Capricorn energy is strong. Like you,
Man.
it's helpful though. It's good. Like I almost feel like, because I have a lot of my planets in Libra, which is airy, and then in the 12th house, it's like I'm always looking
Yeah.
to be gone. And then the Scorpio rising, I'm
Yeah.
like all for the mystery. So there's not a whole lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah. You're
interest in
traveling, you're
waking
gone.
back up.
Yep. Yep. No, I mean, it totally makes sense. Like with your astrology and everything. I love it. All right, so we are going to get into the dream sharing portion of this. But if you have any questions, any comments, anything that you want to share, definitely feel free to share them in the chat. We definitely love the engagement. We want this to be an open conversation with everyone. So, yes, chat, ask away. We're here for it. All right, so who wants to go first?
It's entirely up to you. I'm going with the flow of things.
Well, okay, so your dream is it because yeah, you go because I'm not really sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I want you to go first. I'm
Okay.
still thinking about exactly which one I'm going to share. So,
All right. That sounds great. So last night I was in now this was for May 21st. So this wasn't my dream from last night. Last night I didn't really remember my dream, but the night prior. So I dreamt that I was in an underground type of area that was all rock from floor to ceiling. And it was cold. It smelled like the earth. It was damp. Like you really felt like you were in a cave.
mm,
The room I was in was large and mostly empty, aside from a desk to the left of the entrance that was covered in mystical writings and different
mm-hmm,
kinds of
mm-hmm,
specimen, ranging from magical stones to wands and more. And it was owned by a higher being, which essence kind of lingered around the desk. Directly across from that desk was a fireplace, and the fireplace was made of stone. There seemed to have been a lot of burning going on because the opening of the fireplace was stuffed. So it seemed like people were throwing things in and just throwing things in and not cleaning it out.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so that detail and nothing was lit. This was like old ash and old buildup. So
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
as you move towards the back of the room, there were two unknown exits. Now they weren't doors, it was just where like the room at the end turned into two hallways on the sides, but you could not see past maybe 5 feet to each side. And there were like old trunks built up at the entrance, and it like broken glass and papers strewn around on both sides. And then in the middle, where the edge of the wall of the room was just completely blank rock.
Mm-hmm.
um the exits were long. Like I said, you could only see about 5-6 feet on either side because the darkness consumed the areas, and the length of the exits were unknown. They felt infinite.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't alone in the dream. There were dream people who came and went, family and friends. One person was notable. I was actively ignoring her. The energy she let off was so intensely negative, I couldn't stand to be near her. It was almost like it was literally like if you hold two sides of the same, like two magnets of the same like charge together, you can't push them
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
That energy is
Like
interfering.
repulsive. Yeah.
Yes, and that's exactly how it felt to be around this specific person. Their energy was
Uh,
negative and intense, and every time like I would get close to her, it was like there was that opposite magnetic field where you just couldn't get close. Um, she and another dream person had been messing around with certain spiritual energy that was dangerous and decided to go through the fireplace. It was a portal into the outside world. And when they walked through, my mind's eye could see where they were walking through. So when they walked through, nothing changed in the fireplace, but the image opened up in my third eye, and I could see that the location they were going to was like like a plain of grass with one or two trees that were big and cast huge shadows over the light bright grass. And then the background of this like the sky was really gray and heavy.
mm,
So they were out and messing around in things they shouldn't have been. While they were out, I was alone in the room and I was exploring the items around the desk. I saw two beautiful labradorite pieces. One was about the size of my hand and cut to a rectangle and had the most beautiful fractals and beamed blues and greens. The others were larger and shaped more. The other one was larger and shaped more oblong and beautiful, but it didn't quite put out as much color. I walked around the desk and I sat in a velvet chair. It was soft and like prickly to my fingertips. I stared out and around the room, acknowledging how large it truly was. Like I said, it was cold and damp, and a lingering sense of unease was floating in the air. I looked at the desk, curious of the being who owned it, noting that the writing was not a language I could read. The wands around me were putting off intense energy, luring me to pick one up, but I decided that it would be best if I didn't, for I did not own them. There was an essence of the being in the room at that point. I could feel the tingling and warmth of a presence, which was strong and loving. I took a deep breath and looked up, noticing that the ceiling was in fact the void. This being floated around me and encouraged me to stay strong and kind and optimistic. I felt so loved in that moment. Then I was interrupted by a man who came in looking to purchase something as a gift, which threw me off because I wasn't in a shop. I explained that the rectangular labradorite was $110 because the ticket on the back showed that. And the oblong one was in the 90s. But I couldn't really read it because that one was scribbled out. He scoffed at me in disgust, saying that the expense was too much, and his energy seeped out of him, dark and angry. Then he flew down the left corridor exit against the wall into the unknown void. Someone then entered the room exclaiming that this person that I had previously felt that negative energy with, where it was like magnets and we couldn't get close to each other because of that. That person and the dream person had perished in their attempts to mess with this specific dark energy. The dream person, who was more of a blur than anything, handed me a large velvet cloak, black in color, and offered me their apologies. As they left, I held the cloak in my hands, staring at it, feeling very unsure and unnerved with the news I'd just been given. I then cautiously put the cloak on, walking towards the two exits at the back of the room, feeling my intuition and waiting for the answer to move forward.
Wow, and that's the end.
Yeah, so that was the end. I was woken up. I probably would have gone further into that if I wasn't like I didn't have to wake up. But I do want to note that throughout this dream, my mind's eye would project in this like blank wall that was against where the two corridors went off into their own void. It would project a visual of me swinging on a swing set, slowly with my head down, and it would do that kind of on and off throughout the dream.
Wow. And wait, you said, so this was it last night or the night before?
The night before.
Right. And yesterday, I'm just going to say, yesterday, didn't you have like the most productive? Oh my God, my cat just scared the shit out of me. Like she jumped out. I swear she jumped from the window. There's a window right here. And it's like to the backyard, which my backyard is really creepy at night. And I swear she jumped from the outside. She didn't. I guess she was there. She's black. It's black there. But holy shit.
I love that.
Your dream
it's almost
was
like
intense.
She jumped from a portal.
Yes. Okay.
Which
so
was a topic in my dream.
Right. Okay. Where was I? Wow. That just like, okay, there's something there that's tied in some way. I'll have to rewatch this again later. But yeah, no, I mean, what I was saying was that I know we discussed like yesterday, you had the most powerful, productive day. Like you were in such high vibes. I feel like that dream, even though it can seem like intense, like listening to it, I'm just like, I could feel all the things. It felt like so high vibe to me. And I felt like that being was either like what was coming through when you shared it, I wanted to mention, okay, what if this was you? What if you, look at the perspective of like, everything in the dream is an aspect of you, but specifically I'm thinking of this being like some like higher self or some aspect of you, right? They're encouraging you in the darkness to like keep going and really showing you just with the energy, this level of protection and mysteriousness that you have, and just the profound guidance. There's just so much there. Then, and just especially with the mystical writings and the energy and the fireplace being a portal, and that, what's really stood out to me was the fact that, and I have just no interpretation of it, but the like all the things in the fireplace. And now as I'm saying this, because you said nothing was lit, what I did write down when you mentioned all the things in the fireplace, and before you said but they weren't burning, I could see them burning, and I feel that this is encouragement to do the ritual that you need to do, right, that we've been
Yes,
talking about. So that's
absolutely.
immediately came to mind, right? Like it's ready, it's here, and this is going to be such a big clearing for you. I
Absolutely.
definitely feel that. And I love that Jim commented in the comments was said, cool dream, giving me chills, light that fire please. So, and Jim has
Yeah,
no
I'm getting
idea
that.
of the
I'm getting
background
that.
of this, so that's three: the dream, me, Jim, light it up. um yeah, no, this is I love that. That is such, how did you feel when you woke up after having that?
I felt, I mean, I felt really, really, really inspired to
Yeah.
I kind of came down immediately, wrote my dream, and just felt really in tune with myself. And I do feel as though that that higher being that was there was my own self. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in one sense or the other, like it felt like, you know, almost like the merging of your light and your shadow self. It felt very much like that, especially when I'm sitting in this, I'm sitting at this desk, which my desk is filled with similar things as this desk, just not as ancient and not as like
Yeah.
there was an ancientness, like a very old feeling that went with that desk. And when I sat there and I felt this being, like I really was encompassed. All of a sudden, I wasn't in a cold, damp room. I was warm and I felt like I was being hugged. Like it was a very beautiful experience. And I really do feel like it's a message for me, to me, telling myself that no matter what decision I make on this path, where there are a lot of unknowns, I'm going to be protected and I'm going to be okay and I'm going to be successful as long as I, work hard towards it and
Yeah.
be gentle with myself and care for myself and be kind to myself, be kind to other people like I have been, and just like really bringing that energy forward with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that. It's so powerful. And it's really interesting too, because that being really felt, it was giving me Sagittarius vibes. I tend to sometimes look at Sagittarius as like the sage, the wise person, the spiritual teacher, which is also, I look at it as like your inner being, your inner guide.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also thinking about that. And I was like, oh my gosh, the timing of everything with like the Sagittarius full moon coming forth, and full moon, one of the like textbook or traditional rituals for a full moon is a burning ritual, and for that release and that, powerful illumination as well. And so it was so clear, just
Yeah.
knowing you and where you are in your journey, and then thinking about how your day went after having that dream. I was just, it makes sense. It makes so much sense. It's so clear. So,
And I
and
find that it's,
yeah.
sorry, I'm
Okay.
I appreciate that so much. And I do find that like the more that we talk, the more that we interact in the dream circle, the more that I'm around, the energy like that you put off, the more I'm noticing things because it's consistent. We're talking about it consistently. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
noticing my dream symbols even more intensely than I was before. Of course, the temperature change has always been something that has come up in my
Every
dreams
single
that we
time.
notice,
Yeah.
but I mean the voids, the portals, the
Yeah.
there's different aspects of my dreams that are consistent. Earth is one of them, being engulfed in different aspects around the earth. But I just find it so interesting. The more that we do this, the further along we get through this, the more we progress, like the more
Yeah.
I'm discovering not only about myself but about just how to, again, just exist in this world.
Yeah. It's really interesting too, because I feel that's, we were talking about last night in circle about those indicators too, like dream symbols that will stand out to you, like, okay, I'm in a lucid dream. And how for you, it is the temperature aspect of it where, that I feel a lot of the times when you share your dreams and temperatures there, which is pretty much I feel all the time,
Oh
it's
yeah.
within the first couple sentences. When you're describing the environment and there's movement, then you're like, okay, and then it was cold, it was warm, and then it was cold, or it was cold, or it was hot, or there's always
Yeah.
that awareness of the temperature. And it's so like this one, it was so sensory. I
Yeah.
just really appreciated that, and the fact that you can convey that too, because it's not always a thing that you can convey. I'm really understanding that, which is, even like the visuals of things is hard to put into words sometimes from dreams, which is why
Absolutely.
it's so powerful to be able to kind of sketch that or just create some sort of, visual representation of the dream.
Absolutely. There is a struggle with certain experiences that you have when you're unconscious that really it sometimes it's so hard to explain to people. It's so hard to give a visual. And so having as many tools under your belt to help you with that
Mm-hmm.
is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. Wow. I can't believe you were holding that in this whole time.
I
Like you
know. I
had,
was
I mean, but
so
it was only like a
excited.
couple days, so that's fine.
I was so excited
So
to
I'm
tell you.
like,
I almost was
wow.
like, I should
Yeah.
tell her. Yes, like when I woke up, I was like, oh, I should tell her right now. And then I was like, no, I should wait until to
Yeah.
dream circle. And then
Well,
I was
I'm
like
glad
biting my
that you didn't
nails.
give me, yeah, you didn't give me any like hints or clues because oh my gosh, keeping me in suspense like that. Oh,
I do love
but
the
I,
suspense.
yeah, right. I love it. All right. So, that's perfect. Now I know exactly what I'm going to share, which I feel that you and I have definitely, we had some pretty profound dreams. This dream I actually did not write down, and
Okay.
I don't even really this is one of the ones that's really hard to put into perspective or to into words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll just explain it like I explained it to a friend. And but maybe I will just, and Alexis, you've already heard this dream. So I will just share this part of the dream
Okay.
because it is similar. I feel that I'm beginning to have these dream series, and what I personally feel are visions or just my perspective on the quote unquote new earth. I'm
Yes.
not even going to get into, I mean, the new earth is basically an earth experience in an earth environment that is of a higher vibration. If the planet is healing itself, its karma, restoring its, restoring the energy of the elements and purging a lot of negative energy, heavy energy. If you can, you know, try to perceive the earth as having this major shift as we're evolving as human beings and becoming more awakened, so is the planet, right? And so there is essentially going to be, and I'm saying this as if I know, right? We don't know. This is just my perspective on things. I just want to make that clear. So I'm speaking it as if it is a thing, if I know it's going to happen, but who knows. But basically as we're evolving as, human beings, as, plant life and all the things, there has to be a home, a planet, a host that will support this higher vibration, right? And who's to say the earth is probably elevating first and we're evolving, whatever. Nonetheless, I have been feeling a connection to this for years, but now it's been really strong. And so I've been having some dreams and meditations about this. And so I'm going to share just a part of a dream that I had on, let's see, it was May 17th. And I'm just going to share this small part because there were different like parts or scenes of the stream. But the
Mm-hmm.
part that I feel is relevant to what I'm going to share of what I had, the dream I had, was that yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Yeah, so I am going to share this part. So, sorry, let me just find where this is.
Take your time.
Mm. Okay, so at this point, my daughter, she was sleeping next to me, or I knew she was sleeping. She was taking a nap, but it was early morning, so I guess she was taking an early morning nap. And I decided to, lay down next to her and meditate, which I do that sometimes, or when she used to take naps, I would do that. And so I could drop in, and if she wakes up, I'm right there. Like I'm not completely gone. Right. And so I had this meditation, and then I woke out of the meditation, and my daughter had woke up and she wanted to fall back asleep. Right. So she laid on me to fall back asleep. I noticed she still had clothes on. She had jeans and socks, but I tried to take them off. This is kind of irrelevant, but whatever. I tried to take them off, but she fell back asleep. So I was like, okay, whatever. And so I had this impulse to take a walk around the neighborhood. It was still morning. I walked outside with a hamper full of clothes. I walked for a bit and then stopped to change my clothes. I decided to leave the clothes basket there and continue to walk. So it was weird because I didn't remember like being naked or anything. It was just like I changed my clothes, put on a shirt or whatever. I left the basket of clothes there. So then I looked up as I'm walking, I look up at the sky, and it was the most beautiful, magical sky I've ever seen. It was blue, purple, and pink, but they were very soft and they were very vibrant. And then there was like this sheer layer of a very, very thin cloud that kind of gave it this like this mistiness, but it was also like it had a glow. Like it was, yeah, it was a soft, like very vibrant glow. And in waking life, as a lot of you probably know, we've been having a lot of solar activity, solar storms, and they have been producing the aurora borealis here on the planet. And we've been able to see that, the northern lights, in parts of the world or the country that we haven't been able to see. And so I didn't have a chance to see it in waking life, but it's been on my mind, right? And so in the dream, I then, as I'm looking up at the sky, I literally say to myself, oh, this is the aurora borealis, but we can see it. Like we're able to see it during the day, like it's happening during the day. And I knew in the dream that this was off, like this is not natural. And so yeah, okay. So going back to the dream, I was mesmerized and also captivated by there was also a mountain range in the background, in the distant background. It was really grand, right? And it just like the way it touched the sky and the clouds were, yeah, just like that hazy, but it was like a glow. It's just, again, it's really hard to put into words. So
Yeah.
I told myself, yeah, I'm seeing the aurora borealis during the day. And there were many people out and about walking just like I was. Then it dawned on me, I left my basket of clothes on the side of the road in front of a house. People were going to think it was free because in waking life, I don't know, for those of you watching, but in New York and I know in Colorado too, if you put anything on the side of the road or in front of your house, nine times out of 10, people assume that it's free, right? Unless you say otherwise, like it's for
Yep.
trash, but you can take it if you want it.
It
So I was
feels
like,
it feels
shit.
like a universal thing, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I was like, oh no, like I don't want, these are all brand new clothes, which in waking life, I just got a bunch of clothes. And yeah, so I think it was like a little bit of that trickling in. So I definitely didn't want them to be taken. So I decided to walk back to get them. I walked with urgency. I felt I could see people sorting through them in the distance. I felt like I was walking for a while, longer than my walk had been initially. So when I got to the end of the street, I realized that I was on a different street than where I had started. And I was nowhere close to my house. I got frustrated and woke myself up. So this was a moment where I woke myself up. I was not fully lucid. I was not trying to control the environment, but I don't know, I was interacting with the dream in a sense, but it's a weird, I don't really know how to explain it. Um, and so before, I want to share the second dream, which will be really quick before we like discuss it. So the second dream I had, I believe it was, it was yesterday. And it was right as I was waking up, because I didn't really recall it in the dream, but I recalled everything when I woke up. So as some of you know, I do the cosmic climate in waking life here, and this recent one I've been talking about sacred wisdom, ancient teachings coming back to us, and how we're adapting that to modern times, right? And this has something to do with the raising vibration of the planet, right? The new earth coming into manifestation. And so one of the sacred shapes that came forth while I was talking about cosmic climate is the Vesica Pisces. And the Vesica Pisces essentially is the two circles that come together that overlap. And in the middle of the circle, they create the almond shape. Mm-hmm. Well, in the dream, this is all I remember. So it was almost like there was some sort of guide or just something in the dream that was giving me this information. But they mentioned that essentially, in order to, and this is a reference to portals, they said that if you are, it basically for those of us who are really helping to anchor in this new vibration and we're evolving with it, to access that, say, 5D consciousness, or to access the new earth, we are being guided to visualize that sacred shape. So the Vesica Pisces, the two circles overlapping, and that almond shape in the middle, which is the Vesica Pisces, that is the portal, right? So if we can visualize that shape and focus our third eye and to that portal or to that middle part, we can travel there, right? And we can be in that vibration and live in, like, somehow we can draw that down into our waking life or our physical life. And the more and more we do that, the more and more we will anchor in that vibration, and therefore it will help to, shift our own current reality experience here in our life, right, in our existence. And so that came through. And then and I was getting a visual of all this, and then as I was waking up, which was so profound, is that so in my room, my window is right next to my bed, and I always sleep with the window open. And so I always hear the birds in the morning. I always like feel the sunrise, which is what wakes me up. And so in the dream, after all of that happened, I was hearing a bird like sing, but it sounded really far away, and the whole energy felt like I was in a rainforest, like I was in a jungle or rainforest. And while I'm pretty sure the bird that was singing in waking life was a robin, toucans don't even sing. I don't think they have a bird song, but I got a visual, like I could see a toucan and I could hear bird song, right? And I could visually see like the hanging vines and just like the nature of a rainforest. And again, there was like this soft but vibrant colors, and the feel of it was just, it's like I still can't put into words, and which is probably why I haven't written it down, but it's all in here. I feel it all in my body. And it was the same feeling, but even more profound, I would say, or maybe even strong, like closer. I felt it closer to me, like in this dream, in comparison to the first one that I shared. And so I don't know, it's like it is tapping into that sensory experience. And I wasn't like, I felt lucid, I felt aware, but I didn't control it. Like it was like I like, how do you control that? That is something I had no desire. It was just I was completely immersed in that. And I woke up feeling so high vibe that it was just, I had the best day yesterday.
I love that.
So I love the synchronicities
Yeah.
of, in that it was weird because that was kind of on the same day. Because you
Yeah.
had, yesterday was, so okay, we got to look at the astrology or something. Like
Yes, we
something was going
do.
on. And we
Portals,
had
I
no
mean,
idea. In the portals, yes.
between the earth and the portals and just like being in it's I mean, first of all, right off the bat, like your first dream that you talked about to me felt like you're entering into this, dimension or this astral plane or whatever it may be, or into the new earth or into your own new self. But there is a level of, and I don't want to say materialism in the sense of like having things, but materialism as in like almost like I don't know, there like it's almost like
Like
letting
attachment.
go. Yeah,
Yeah, like I
letting
had an
go of
attachment to it.
attachments in order to move forward into this beautiful place.
Yeah,
And
I felt
then the
that.
and then the dream from yesterday, or not last night but the night before, you basically went through a portal into this beautiful serene place, and so profoundly that you can't really explain it to the extent of what you were experiencing. And that in itself is so beautiful. And it almost shows a progress, whatever you may have been doing in your day to day and not even realizing how you were working and progressing to that point. I find
Yeah.
that so interesting. Like that sounds so beautiful.
Yeah.
I can
It was
almost smell like the damp like floral scent of being in
yeah.
that rainforest. Like
And it
that
was like
sounds
I felt like I was like, when I think about it and just the experience of it, like tuning into everything around, I felt that I was like hanging in, like almost on a hammock, but like something that was made of the earth. And I'm just like lying
yeah.
there and I'm just experiencing all of it. And I feel you. I did not want to wake up. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to leave
It's
this, you
it's
know?
you
It
don't
was wild.
when you're
It
in
was
it,
wild.
like I know that was a it was a really beautiful experience. I know that like with me, I don't even want to wake up when I'm not having a beautiful experience. But like when you are having a an experience that's so magical, you just want to keep existing in that space.
Yeah.
I am I just and the synchronicity, I'm like speechless. Like the
Yeah.
fact that you and I both had dreams that seem to, center a little bit around our own progression, our own I mean progress with whatever we're dealing with, and it felt encouraging and magical and like higher than we can explain and like through
Yeah.
verbal, but
Hmm.
to wake up and then have insane inspiration and motivation and focus and just the best day. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. We were definitely, and this is definitely a great example of astral travel in a dream,
yeah,
where I feel that we both had went someplace like mystical, magical,
yeah,
someplace of a different vibe. And we both had a guide. Like I felt, like I said, I got that guidance about the sacred geometry, which is like everything to me. Like I live for like the sacred sciences and bringing
yeah,
it all together and then being able to share. And it's like you got some sort of spiritual guidance and teachings and just being in that energy. And then there are the portals, and I wrote it down, but I didn't mention it, but I felt like that looking through the fireplace or like watching them was like remote viewing in a sense, or scrying. And we literally have been talking about working with
mm-hmm.
mirrors and just different levels of like, scrying and seeing things.
Yeah.
And so it's all coming together. I'm
Yeah, we had
so
that
so excited.
conversation about scrying in mirrors yesterday, I think, because you messaged me
Yeah.
and you were like, I'm so glad that you posted that mirror dream on, you
Yeah.
know, the forum, because you and Jace had been talking about mirrors, and then we got into the whole mirror thing. So the night before, to have dreams that involve like portal and astral travel, it's
Yeah.
the
It was wild.
interconnectedness of the waking realm and the dream realm is so insane. I can't
Yeah.
explain it. You have to experience it for yourself. Like I
Yeah.
really, it's so hard to explain.
Yeah. It's like it's hard for me to put it into words. And that would be a really good, if I was a really good artist, that scene. Like if I could draw, I could definitely replicate everything I was seeing, like as a picture,
Yeah. And I would love to
but it's
see it.
like,
I would love to see it.
yeah, 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 that was great. So I love that Jim says, I'm guessing you might need to have a yard sale. And thank you, because I literally am going to be putting some stuff on Facebook Marketplace tomorrow. I've been needing to do that for the past couple of days and going through all my stuff. But yeah, no. So you're like the second or third person that mentioned um myself like selling things, like having a yard sale. So no, that's so on point. Universe, spirit, I hear you. I'm gonna do it because I've been wanting to do it for some time. And
Unload,
yeah,
unload. You don't need it
unload,
anymore.
release, let go. Yeah, and that's, I
Yes.
guess that was kind of a theme for both of us because you had that
Yes.
fireplace that was waiting to be, lit,
Lit.
and just so many things packed in there. And yeah,
Absolutely.
my friend Mary mentioned that um what did she say? Oh yeah, with the, because I didn't share like the previous scene of that dream, the first dream,
Yeah.
where I was doing a visualization and I was wanting to visualize the car that I'm manifesting, and they kept giving me like these pickup
Right.
trucks, and I'm like, I was getting pissed about it and yelling at my subconscious in the dream, like, do you not know what a Jeep Wrangler is?
Yeah.
So it was funny, and it was such I wouldn't do that obviously in,
It almost
waking
felt
life.
like with that first part of the dream that it was like the dream was like, this is not important. Like
Yes,
we need to
yes, that's
move
what I
on
got.
because we
Yeah.
have more important things to talk about. We have more important things to
Something
experience.
that's gonna
And
feel
that's what I meant by like
amazing.
letting go of
Yeah.
the material. Like I'm not trying to say you're a
Yes.
materialistic person, but I know that
No, you're right.
material can affect material affects everyone in different ways. And unloading that and getting rid of and cleansing and releasing is so important. And these little reminders and these nudges in that
Yeah.
direction are really, they're great.
Yeah. No, this is a really good share.
I
Let's see.
agree.
All right, we're gonna bring this to a close, friends. We would love to have you share your dreams. So please, please drop them in the forum. Drop them, tell us to share them anonymously. You don't have to come on live, but this is always really fun. So let's see what we have here. Jay says, I think this was in reference to just ending the dream. He said you were just done with that dream, so probably said you were done as well. Poof out of dream. Yeah, no, I was definitely done. I was like, I don't have any more energy. Like I said, the Capricorn needs to have the control, and it's like, okay, we're
Yeah.
done here, time to wake up. And beautiful atmosphere, very exciting. Don't sell your Colorado tea. I'm definitely not. I'm obsessed with Colorado, so keeping all the Colorado stuff. Okay, so thanks everyone for
Thank you
watching
so much.
tonight. Thanks Alexis for being here and just being
Thank
my partner in
you.
crime with this. I'm really
Thank
excited
you.
because yeah, I feel like I would just be talking to the void if it was just me. So
I
I'm
just
so
also
grateful
feel
to
like
have
our
you.
energies are so like balanced and like fuel each other. Like I feel like
Yeah.
every time we talk, we're like, oh, well, we were feeling sleepy and shitty, but now I
Yeah.
feel
I
energized
can
and
do,
ready
yeah,
for
I'm
the
like, I can
next
do so
thing.
many things. Yes, I love
So
it.
thank you.
So if you guys like this video, please like the video. Please subscribe to my channel and join us next week. Not sure what the topic will be. It's a mystery, but it'll be
A
a good time
surprise.
nonetheless. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much, everyone. Have a good night and
Have
sweet
a good night.
dreams. Bye.